Hey, so I got a question from one of my students tonight asking about rawness. And I thought, wow, this is a really great topic, especially given what's been happening lately with hurricanes and shootings and all kinds of crazy stuff in the news. So my name's Elaine. I help coach people with their stories, with their camera skills. I have a program called Captivate the Crowd, and I help people craft stories and keynotes and TEDx talks and all kinds of things. But I think this is a really important topic to talk about, and I'm going to speak from my personal experience. So I've been a performer since I was in the second grade. I've worked professionally my whole life, and I've been a stand-up comic now for 12 years. And I remember at one point I was, and they say you need to write about your autobiographical stuff that's universal but specific to you. There's all kinds of rules, and then you can break them, and I will spare you some of that. But I remember I was working on this bit about a family member who was really going through some tough stuff, some tough legal things, and this person was retirement age, and you would just never in a million years think that this person would be going through something like this at that age. I mean, you never want anyone to have to go through legal stuff at any age, but it was just shocking, and I was trying to make a joke out of it because I personally was in a lot of pain, and I was worried about this person, and I think I felt shame and guilt and fear and sadness. And, as a comedian, you're like, hey, let me try to make this funny. And that is a gift of comedy, and that's one thing I love. Like, you can be having the worst day and you're like, this is going to be really funny someday, right? You can frame your life like, okay, I'm going to use this as material, or this is not fun right now, but when I get to the other side, it's going to be funny. That's actually a great way to live your life if you can remember to frame that. So anyway, so I'm working on this bit, and I was doing a class at Gotham Comedy Club with Jim Mendrinos, who's a great writer, teacher. And he was like, Elaine, it's too real, it's too raw, it's too soon. It's too soon. And I'm so grateful that I wasn't my stubborn pig-headedness, and I listened. I got it. And I think that there's so many things to make fun of and so many great topics. And sometimes you need to let things lie and rest. For instance, one of my clients tonight, we were working on stories, and the heroine story of like why you do what you do. Like, how did you get into being a coach, a speaker? How did you end up writing 5 books? How did you end up helping people not commit suicide, or whatever the thing is that you're doing? And this person told like a profound story about something that happened to her as a child. And I mean, we were all like, cry, like it was simply told from the heart. It was so poignant, and it was so powerful and real and raw. And like, to me, that's like the art of storytelling, when you can stop time and be transcended from your own life, and so be in that picture you have of that person's life. And so after we all kind of like recovered and we tweaked a little thing, then she was talking about, well, I could talk about da 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 da. And I was like, you're not ready yet. Because for one thing, this other thing was so good. I'm like, don't just stick with that. But you could tell there was still some angst. And even though she's done a lot of work, sometimes things are too real or too raw. And you need to, I call it like, we're taking our story and it's in the soup pot, and we're cooking it, and we're sprinkling in some characters and some conflict and some nuances, some language, some accents, some culture, some setting up, right? And sometimes you got to like stir the pot, and you gotta kind of put it on the side burner on real low and let it simmer. And sometimes that's where the magic like really happens, because sometimes you bring it back after a week or 2 weeks or a month, and it's like, oh my God, that just happened. Another student, we had worked on this story for another project, and she came back like a week a week ago and did it, and I was like, wow, the power of simmering your story. So my answer to you is, if you are trying to talk about a topic that's really heavy, or you're still having a lot of emotion about it, I would say journal, meditate, pray. I come very spiritual approach to things, and see if there's something else you can work on for now. And there's a difference. If you're telling a story and you get teary-eyed or you have some emotion, that is absolutely fine. But if you feel like you're in a trigger, then I would caution you. Because here's the thing. If you are afraid you might lose it, the audience is going to sense that, and they're going to worry for you. And speaking is therapeutic, but it is not therapy. And we want to be raw and vulnerable and real and authentic, but we don't want people worried about us, or like, oh my God, she needs to go back to the nut house, or I think she needs to get on some different meds, or, we want to be real and raw, but we don't want the audience to be worried for us, because that doesn't serve them. It doesn't serve the event or what you're doing. And that's perfectly okay. Sometimes this happens when you've told a story, and all of a sudden other stuff comes up and you get re-triggered. Sometimes you have to pull the story back. Sometimes you have to go work on it with a coach or a therapist. Sometimes you have to put it way to the side and work on something else. And that's okay. We're human beings. We're human beings sharing our experience, strength, and hope. We are not robots reciting perfectly, we want to be in the moment, telling a story that means something to us and to our people, to get a point across, not just to hear ourselves speak. So that was a whole lot of information on the question on, what if it's too real, if it's too raw. So if you're asking that question, I would say that's your answer. It is for now. And there are things you can do to help release the trigger and release some of the emotion. So I'm going to be talking about that in future videos. But, my answer is put it to the side, put it in the simmer place, and work on something else that you still feel moved to share and you're connected with, but that you're not like, I got to lose it. So I hope that was helpful for you. And if you are not on my email list, please make sure you go to captivatethecrowd.com. Or I think if you comment or click somewhere around here, we'll make sure we get you signed up so that you can get more of my cool free tools and tips and trainings. Thanks so much, and I hope to see you on the screen soon. Bye for now. Bye.